Have you ever stopped to think about what's happening inside your body right now? I mean, every single second, there are trillions of chemical reactions firing off. It's this microscopic, high-speed universe that's keeping you alive. So today, let's meet the secret agents running the whole operation.
Here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, we're going to identify these secret agents. Then, we'll dive into their three main superpowers. We'll see what they're up to, building things up and breaking them down. We'll also find out about their kind of specific working conditions. And finally, we'll put them to the test with a really cool, simple experiment.
So, let's jump right in. How on earth does our body manage all this complicated chemistry with such incredible speed and, well, precision?
I mean, seriously, think about it. You eat a meal, and in just a few hours, your body has turned it into fuel. But if you left that same food out on the counter, it would take days, maybe even weeks to break down. So what's our body's secret? How is it so fast?
Well, the answer is enzymes. These are the body's secret agents. They're special proteins that act as biological catalysts. Their one big job is to dramatically speed up chemical reactions, reactions that would otherwise happen way, way too slowly to keep us alive.
So what gives enzymes these amazing abilities? Honestly, you can think of them as having three distinct superpowers that make them perfect for their job. Let's break them down.
First up, they have super speed. That's their catalytic power. Second, they're designed for a perfect fit with their target, which we call specificity. And third, they can just work overtime, again and again, because they are totally reusable.
And this really gets to the core of that first superpower, speed. An enzyme can make a reaction happen millions of times faster. It's the difference between digesting your lunch in an afternoon versus, well, basically never. Without them, life as we know it just wouldn't be possible, plain and simple.
Their second superpower is that they're specialists. It's like a lock and a key. Every single enzyme has a unique shape that's made to fit perfectly with one specific molecule. So, what does that mean? It means an enzyme that breaks down protein will completely ignore a starch molecule floating right by it. They're designed for one job and one job only.
And their third superpower? They're tireless workers. Enzymes are the ultimate employees. They do their job, and then they're instantly ready to do it all over again. They don't get used up in the reaction. That means a teeny tiny amount of an enzyme can process a huge amount of material, which makes our bodies incredibly efficient machines. So with all these superpowers, what is the grand mission for these little agents? It all comes down to managing our metabolism, the sum of all the chemical reactions that keep us going. And this mission, well, it's got two sides to it.
Yeah, enzymes basically have two main jobs. The first is decomposition. That's where they break big molecules into smaller ones. Think about your body turning a chunk of protein into tiny amino acids during digestion. The second is synthesis, where they do the exact opposite. They build large molecules from smaller ones, like when our body stores glucose as a big molecule called glycogen for later. It's this constant cycle of breaking down and building up.
But here's the catch. As powerful as enzymes are, they're also a little bit sensitive. They can only do their superhero thing under the perfect conditions. You could say these are their kryptonite.
Temperature is a really big one. Every enzyme has an optimal temperature where it works best. For most of our enzymes, that's right around our body temperature, 37 degrees Celsius. Now, if it gets too cold, they just slow down. They get lazy. But if it gets too hot, their shape gets permanently wrecked. We call it denatured. And once that happens, they can never do their job again. It's game over. And it's not just about temperature. Acidity, or pH, is also super important. An enzyme that loves the super acidic environment of your stomach would be totally useless in the neutral environment of your saliva. It's actually amazing when you think about it. Our bodies create all these perfectly customized little environments all over the place just to let different enzymes do their best work.
Okay, talking about all this is one thing, but seeing it for yourself is way cooler. So let's walk through a classic experiment to see the enzymes in our own saliva go to work.
So here's our goal. We want to prove two things. First, that there's an enzyme in our saliva that can break down starch, and second, that temperature really does mess with its ability to work. So how are we going to do it?
Okay, here's the game plan. We set up 3 test tubes. Tube A is our control. It's just got starch and water, no enzyme. Tube B is our main event, starch, saliva, and we keep it at that perfect body temperature. Then we have Tube C, our temperature test. It's got starch and saliva too, but we stick it in an ice bath at 0 degrees.
Okay, after we let them sit for a bit, it's time for the moment of truth. We add something called Benedict's solution to each tube. Now, this chemical is basically a sugar detector. It's supposed to be blue, and it'll stay blue if there's only starch around. But, and this is the cool part, it turns green or yellow if that starch has been broken down into simple sugars.
And look at these results. This is so cool. Test tube A, the one with no saliva, stayed blue. No surprise there, right? Test tube C, the one that was too cold, also stayed blue. The enzyme was in there, but it was just too chilly to work. But look at test tube B. The one with saliva at body temperature turned green-yellow. The enzyme totally did its job. The starch is gone and we've got sugar.
So, what does this tell us? This one simple test proves everything we've been talking about. It shows us for sure that our saliva has an enzyme that digests starch. It shows that this enzyme works best at body temperature. And it shows that its power gets switched off when it gets too cold. How neat is that?
And here's something to think about. Enzymes aren't just in our bodies. They're everywhere in nature, doing countless jobs. So that leads to a final big question. If these are nature's own highly efficient, super-specific nanomachines, what else could we do with them? I mean, from creating new medicines to cleaning up pollution, the possibilities are just mind-blowing.